So yeah, I don't feel like they played it safe, but they didn't also go like over the top hard with it.
Evil Dead had his own plateau, had his own model, had his own world. And now, hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Mission Movie Reviews. I'm Barry Gaines.
I'm your homie Jay Green.
And today we're doing something that we did before, and I think it's kind of cool. So at times, Justin and I want to see a film, and there's two films at the same time, and sometimes we can only get to one film. So what we'll do is we say, hey, listen, you see that film, I see this film, and we just going to discuss both films at the same time. And that's what we're doing today. So I want to see The Invite, didn't have a chance, so I went to see Evil Dead. And then Justin wants to see Evil Dead, but he had a chance to see Invite. So I want to see both. But at the same time, it's contingent on our reviews. So, if we think it's bad, I don't know if we're going to go see it. But I definitely want to see Invite. And now Justin was interested in seeing Evil Dead down the line. So we're going to see what's up. So I'm going to ask Justin some questions about it because I haven't seen Invite. And Justin's going to ask me about Evil Dead because he hasn't seen it. So that's how we're going to rock today. So first off, Evil Dead.
We found you.
So I went to see Evil Dead, directed by Sebastian Vanek. And quickly, before I get into it, is that I think the movie was, I think it was okay. Maybe I'm a little of a purist when it comes to Evil Dead because I was around with the first one, the second one, the third one, Army of Darkness and all that, and then the others. So I felt that it was okay. I think the acting was really good. I think the storyline was okay. It was really gory, so if you're not into gore, don't fuck with it. But if you're into gore, you're going to love it. But the storyline itself and kind of caring for the characters was kind of lagging. I don't know where they would really want to go with this. Evil Dead took a turn for me on how you become like affected by the Book of the Dead. In here you barely saw the book. I don't even, probably a quick second. So that messed me up a little bit because you normally will see the book somewhere along the line. I mean, that's the whole point of Evil Dead, the Book of the Dead. But then how people get infected by it, to turn into these creatures kind of started to lean a little more into a vampiric type of situation. We're really kind of like, yeah, I'm not fucking with that too much. I'm like, really? Before it was just like, you just get possessed. These things happen. You can have blood on you and everything else from the creatures and all that, right? And you can get a bite. Doesn't mean you're going to turn into it. It's just a matter of time that you maybe will if it selects you. This time, it was more like, oh, okay, I think we're Nosferatu now or something? Now we start just biting people, or blood comes on me, and then I start turning into it. And I'm like, I don't know where they're going with this. Now, understand this. Sam Raimi, Bruce Campbell, and forget the other gentlemen, are behind all of the Evil Deads that ever came out, even from the first one all the way to now. So it's not like somebody else is making these decisions. They are. But I think their decisions right now is saying maybe they're getting tired of like how things happen and they want to change it up. But I think the change to me is not very good. I think it kind of throws you off. It throws you into another lore of things. Of course, like I said before, the vampiric lore. And you don't really want to start getting into that. Evil Dead had his own plateau, had his own model, had his own world. And now they're kind of leaning into that, and I really couldn't fuck with it too much. I'm like, oh, okay. Everything else is kind of like, okay. I think that the storylines, some moments were kind of weak on that. Cinematography is really good. Sound design is very good. Like I said, the acting was very good. Some things you saw coming, but it's a horror movie. Of course, you're going to see things coming, so that's neither here nor there. But otherwise, if you want to see Evil Dead and you like the gore and you don't give a fuck, only you worry about is slashing and some possessed people just chopping on each other, then go for it. But all in all, if you're looking for something else in Evil Dead, like taking the next step to to a higher plane, or this ain't it. It's not. You just want to be like, oh, okay. And you probably forget about it within 10 minutes. So that's me. So, yeah. That's what's up with Evil Dead with me.
Let me ask you a couple questions. So number one, I heard that the story, kind of like you're saying, the story is a little bit of it's all right, you know what I mean? But I heard that the director really sold that shit. In other words, like the way that he's like filming certain things, and the creative camera movement is actually pretty dope. So did you like how he shot the movie, even if the story was like little?
Yeah, well, the way he shot it was great. I mean, he knew what he was doing behind the lens. There was no like, as just like inventive creative movements or shots. Pretty much straight up. Oh, and then what I loved about it too was practical effects were all over the place. What I love, you saw it. And I'm quite sure Sam Raimi and those guys behind us saying, listen, now much CGI, straight up, just practical. And the practical effects look great. Like I said, he lit everything up really well. You saw every little thing. I think the creepiness was still there, but the scariness to it, and none of them really was scary. And I think that, so they weren't really scary. They were more like, just kind of adventurous and creepy, but they weren't really scary. So yeah, I think he did a great job with that. So if you look at it, it's going to look really, really good.
Yeah. The other thing I was going to say is the last one, Evil Dead Rise, I did not like that movie.
Yeah.
Like, again, I'm a fan of gore. I'm a fan of the horror element, the look, the swag. But like you're saying, if you're taking something from back in the day that's been around, and then now you're going to kind of reinvent it. Fede Alvarez did the 2013, 2014 one, right, which I really did like. And that kind of fit a little bit more in that Sam Raimi, Bruce Campbell world, if you will.
Yeah, I agree.
Cabin in the Woods. But with this one, in Evil Dead Rise, they're in an apartment building. Cool. You kind of have to really build out the mythology into the future, right? So I heard that with this one, like maybe the grandpa or something like that was like a demon hunter, and that's why he had a book, and then some people are kind of looking for it type of swag.
Yeah, it was more like, it didn't really explain that. Like, if you don't catch it, you kind of like, it wasn't explained well. A scene comes up, you see the book, and next thing you know, now you're into the future and things happen, and, you got a relationship between the mother and so it becomes like a family thing. And I understand, too, where they could really take Evil Dead if they really want to, and I know they probably don't, but make it expand it to, like, a lot more people. They always keep it campy, which I understand. I mean, that's the whole lore of it. That's the model of Evil Dead. Keep it campy, keep it in the house, keep it in the place, one environment, and everything just goes shit in one environment. But they really could have said, well, okay, it's a family thing now, and how people were reacting to certain situations that did not add up. There was things I was like, what are you doing? You didn't turn yet. This is crazy. You shouldn't be just going to bed. Like, shit just happened. And now you're just going to bed. Like, shit like that was like, what? Like, what are you doing? Like, okay. And do that. And I'm like, okay, guys. Maybe there was something in between, and maybe in the edit they took out. Who knows? But it didn't make any sense. But yeah, it was, But all in all, I think that they need to start expanding this. If they really want this to keep going, the whole family thing, is kind of like, really? Just a family? I think that they could do more.
Yeah, that was one of my issues. Like, when I saw the trailer, I was like, yo, this trailer looks pretty fucking fire. And I heard this movie from one of the guys that I follow, John Campia. He said, he goes to CinemaCon, so they see footage, and they're like, yeah, the previous Evil Dead movies, like you're saying, a little bit more fun, a little bit more campy, definitely nasty and gory, but it's in that fun, campy realm with some horror elements, right? Whereas this movie and even the last movie were maybe a little bit more mean-spirited. You know what I'm saying? So I get it if you're going to make a departure from that fun, campy, a little bit adventurous, swag, and you want to bring it into something maybe a little bit more mean-spirited, or maybe something that focuses more on the family versus straight up Deadites and the Book of the Dead. However, my trepidation is if you kind of jump to those things rather than actually building it out in a way that actually feels like you're blending the two worlds or the two timelines, if you will, from like what it was to what you want it to now be moving forward. If you don't blend that well enough, that's where I had the issue with Evil Dead Rise. I'm like, we're just killing people to kill people. It's gory for whatever gore's sake, but it didn't really like make logic. Again, it's an Evil Dead movie, so don't get on the logic. I understand that, but it just didn't fit. Like the beginning of that Evil Dead Rise movie to where it ended. Made no sense within the story that you're telling. So that's what I was fearful with this movie. So hearing that like the story was kind of like, whatever, we're not really focusing on, the Book of the Dead, you got the Deadites doing some cool shit, but it's maybe not as fun and it's more mean-spirited. I'm like, I think I made the right choice with the movie I went to.
And and it's funny you say that too. When you say like mean-spirited stuff like that, when I hear that, I'm like, to me, and I know it's not your words, of course, but when I hear that, I'm like, yo, grow some balls. We talking about mean-spirited? It's a freaking horror movie. What's gonna be mean-spirited? That's the whole point of it. It's supposed to be mean-spirited. Right. Like, what's your problem? Yeah, like it's crazy. You don't even say that. But yeah, I think too that they need to expand it more. Yeah, I think it's just now just making excuses for people just to turn to Deadites, like you said, or call them the creatures. Yeah, you know what I mean? And I think they're running out of ideas. They really are. And on top of that, remember, like you said too, they kind of moving into less comedy, right, and a little more serious, which I'm fine with. I'm like, yo, go for it. I love that, But even with these jokes in here didn't land at all. Like you saw it, and maybe because we're older guys, we've seen these things to death. Maybe a 16-year-old would laugh or something like that, but realistically, it didn't land. It looked like they told the director, "Hey, listen, we got to put a joke in here." He was like, yeah, just say that." And that's how it looked like. It was no reason for any comedy at all, Right. And they tried to put 1 and 2 here, not too much, but it didn't land to me. And so realistically, I think that they need to now say, okay, if we're going to continue this is number 6, right? This is 6. This is 6 movie, right? So, all right. So you're looking for 7. If you're looking for 7, we can't go back in the house with some couple of a family or some friends and go through the whole Book of the Dead moment again. Like I mean, they're going to have to expand it,
Yeah. You know what I want? I want Evil Dead meets Night at the Museum. And let me tell you why. Because when you talk about expanding it, like, it makes perfect sense that at some point in time, authorities or whoever's going to catch on to this, someone's going to find this damn book. Someone's going to realize it's a relic of some sort, put this shit in a museum. And the other reason is when you do something like that, it's going to give you an opportunity to just go outlandish with the look and the vibes. Because I'm watching this trailer and I'm like, okay, why are we staying at this house? Like, if I go get an Airbnb and this is what it looks like when I show up, I'm canceling that shit immediately. I'm getting the fuck out of here. Are you kidding me? Like,
yeah, so true.
All that we've seen in all the books, magazines, articles, you know what I'm saying? Brochures about haunted locations. This is not the house you stay at. Like, what are we doing here?
That's true. So that's true. That's true. And one more thing. One more thing about Evil Dead is that one thing I noticed was this, and I was like, what? I'm like, okay, whatever. You go into this house, Justin, right? They show this house. The guy and his wife come into the house with his mother's house, which is probably his former house, where he used to live. The house is pretty much falling apart. Like, it looks horrible. It looks like a horror movie already happened. You had shit leaking roofs, and then the parents don't really match the look as much. I mean, the father does a little bit. He's a little rough in the edges. The mother doesn't seem to fit the house as much. She's a little more elegant and everything else. Maybe she's just trying to, keep herself up because the place is so bad. But the place is so bad. Like, bro, what happened? And then the kid is like looking like, oh yeah, the place is going down and stuff like that. Don't you reference that you want to help mom, dad? I mean, you got some money here. You know what I mean? So there was moments like that. It just doesn't add up. He's like, what? You're like, okay, I'll move on. Let's see what happens. I guess it gave him excuses for shit just to break real easy. They put something in the room, someone just bushes right through the door. Yeah, because the door is like 200 years old. It's falling apart. So, but anyway, yeah. So that's Evil Dead for me. That's my opinion. So if you guys out there want to check it out, see what you think. But all in all, I'll say, you know what? I'll wait for streaming.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now let's get to the invite. Now, Justin went to see the invite. I want to see the invite. I remember seeing one trailer like in the theaters, right? I'm like, damn, this one trailer? I remember going a few times, I've never seen it again. So it looks really good. You can tell there's a mystery in there somewhere. And of course, it kind of leads you like in the trailer of going one place, but I'm quite sure that's not the direction they're really going. So I'm really interested. So the first thing I want to ask you, Justin, is number one, Olivia Wilde's directing this. I know that. I really like her directing style. So far, I like everything she's done so far. So she's kicking ass. So number one, I know the acting was good because you had some top tier guys there. How was the feel of the movie? Did it give you that same feel of more comedic into seriousness, or did it lean more into seriousness than comedic?
This movie was perfection to me.
What is this?
That's a rug.
Did you buy this rug because the neighbors are coming?
Oh my God. Joe, you remember Peanut Hawk?
What kind of music you into, Hawk?
What is Sade?
What is Sade?
She loves that.
This is fucking crazy!
Can we please do a reset?
Is this from a podcast?
Yes, it is.
We did come down here tonight to invite you.
Invite us to join us. Us.
Me too.
Okay, I guarantee this movie is going to get some type of Oscar talk. Acting potentially can get some Oscar talk. This movie gives you the feels of comedy straight off the top. It's comedic, very relatable as far as like relationships are concerned, especially like long-term relationships. You know what I mean? Things that change over time. Maybe you address them, maybe you don't, but there's things behind the eyes of the people in the relationship, and that resentment, that dialogue, those feelings, that tension, it comes out in your conversations, right? So we're seeing that straight off the top, right? And I thought it blended the comedic and the dramatic very, very well, paced it all very, very well. The mystery is not too much of a mystery. In a way, it is, it isn't. The mystery is basically like, okay, what's gonna be the hook, I guess? What's gonna be the thing that this couple's gonna be dealing with this other couple? Because we understand, like, by the trailers that there's something that's presented, you know what I'm saying, by this couple that's coming over for the dinner party. And so, you know, I can't remember exactly. I might have seen one trailer, so I don't necessarily want to say what it is. But for the most part, for the most part, you can imagine that this couple's into some wild shit. So they're going like, you know, tell this couple, hey, you know, if you into that too, we'll see what's up. You know what I mean? So there's that. But the way that they handled it, was opposite what you would see in most rom-com or, you know, dramedies, if you will. Like if you see like a relationship in a situation where another couple kind of like propositions them or says, hey, this is what we're doing, or they end up showing up to a party where this is going on, you know what I mean? It's gonna get played up for laughs, or it's gonna be like some eyes wide shut shit, like way too outlandish and weird. You feel me? This was much more like grounded right in the middle, but surrounding that funny premise, and trust me, it's funny when they start to mention it and talk about it. It's funny, for sure. But around it is the drama of what's this couple going through? What is Olivia Wilde and Seth Rogen's marriage going through? You know, what's brought them to this point? And the way that it was written, and the way that Olivia Wilde directed it, and the acting surrounding all of these things was so effing good, so effing on point to me. Because again, up top, that initial conversation that they're having as they're getting ready for this dinner party, like it's going. The pacing is perfect. The comedy is perfect. The expressions are great. If you've been in a relationship and you're married, you can relate to this so well. Right? And then when Edward Norton and Penelope Cruz show up, everything is working so well. So when everything unfolds into this conversation and proposition, it feels very organic. It feels very genuine. Man, good. So it's great. And then in the end, oh man, it was, the whole movie was so great. I can't honestly point. And I'm trying to think outside the box for me, right? I love it. But I'm trying to think for somebody else out there. The only way that I would see someone else out there maybe not connecting with this movie or being able to relate to it in some way, shape, or form, or thinking it was boring or whatever, is someone who, one, doesn't have the experience of a long-term relationship, whether that relationship was good, bad, or whatever, or maybe they're single right now and just ignoring the things that they dealt with in their previous relationship. They just can't, you know, see the writing. Certain things like that. You have to live a little. You have to live a little to really be in this movie. I would definitely say that this movie is kind of like a, remember This Is 40? This is kind of like a This Is 40 or a Knocked Up or, you know what I'm saying, even touches of like 40-Year-Old Virgin. Certain things like that kind of like all rolled into like 2026. You know what I'm saying? Seth Rogen at his height, so good. Also, I love Olivia Wilde too. I think she's great. I think she's a phenomenal actress. I think she is a great director. The 3 movies, I think this is her 3rd go, right?
She has a 3rd one,
Booksmart. She didn't write Booksmart, but her directing for Booksmart, out of this world. I thought that movie was phenomenal. I liked her her look and her direction and the acting caliber of Don't Worry, Darling, but I thought that movie was awful. I thought that movie was trash. It didn't make any sense to me. It was ridiculous. But again, she didn't write that movie either. This movie she didn't write, but the direction and the style, the cinematography, like shot composition is better than a story like this deserves. Like everything that was brought to this movie was top notch. Like I can't say anything bad about it. It was great. So
all right. So obviously you saw a good one. I didn't. That's how it works. So realistically, you feel that this movie is more for a kind of specific audience. It's kind of linear, more to a more experienced audience, like a more experienced, I feel like demographic. I feel like let's say there was like a show that was going to get a movie, right? Mandalorian and Grogu, right? They're going to make a Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Have that movie actually expanded on that universe and took us to somewhere really different. People watching that movie who never watched the show might be like, I don't get how these characters got here. So I think that this movie, if you look at it like that, if you haven't really like lived this experience, you're gonna miss out on some of those nuances, some of those things, and you're gonna it's not gonna hit as hard for you. But I still think that this movie can be for anybody who is alive. If you understand, anybody with a heartbeat.
If you understand like attraction and wanting to be, wanting to be desired, you know what I'm saying? If you've been anywhere where you're like, hey, I thought this was this, but now it's that, or hey, what about this subject over here? Or what are people that are into this type of thing? What do they like? You know, how does this even go down? Like we've all heard of these topics of conversation. So I feel like anybody can get down with this movie, but it will definitely hit harder if you've had some experience, right?
Okay, yes, nice.
I think it's for everybody, but it will hit harder if you've had some life experience. Live a
life experience. That's what I'm saying. Well, that's good to hear. I love that. And now, does it feel as if did it feel like they were safe with anything? Or they pretty much threw a lot of those nuances right in your face? And if you didn't catch it, they were just hard-hitting nuances. Like some dude like, I didn't catch that,
I don't feel like they, I didn't pay attention to the rating. I'm a grown ass man, so I don't care. But I don't feel like they played it safe because when certain things happen, like you have to imagine like if in the world of crazy-ish that people do, different personalities and things of that nature, what couples are into these days, or at least talk more about these days than they maybe used to, right? You have to imagine if a couple over here is going to say, hey, we're going to maybe talk to this couple over here about this, joining in on our fun, if you will, right? Are you literally just going to knock on the door and be like, hey, look at what we got. You want to have some fun with this? You're not going to do that. Right? Again, that's a movie that's trying to play it up for the shock value, a movie that might be trying to play it up for the comedic elements. This movie is playing it up for like, hey, this is a real rounded situation, and we're going to have a conversation about that. So when both couples are talking about it, they're asking real questions, and there's some funny moments within how they're asking about it. There's, the one character that's like, hey, I don't know if I'm with this or against this, and we're going to see that personality, that comedy come out. So, I don't feel like they played it safe, but they didn't also go like over the top hard with it. But they also they still kept the through line of what are we actually here for? We have this surrounding it. So I felt like it was all in the middle. Now, there's going to be some people out there that will probably feel like, oh, I don't think they went hard enough. But those of you out there that feel like that are looking for a different movie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
A different website, okay? This is not what this movie is about.
Right, a different rating.
So, you know what I'm saying? Something completely different, right?
Right. So when you watched the movie, did it like when I was looking at the trailer and I saw all the cast in there, those heavy hitters, like I said before, those guys are no joke. Did it feel like, I guess you could pretty much tell us everything, but from what you saw, did it give you that sense of like, hey, this could continue? Did it just close? Like, did the whole story just close, or is it open for another invite or invite two? I'm just curious about that. Did it just close it at the end, and that's it? It's like there's no reason for another one. What do you think?
I feel like I would be interested to see these two couples interact again, right? It doesn't need
nice.
It can go. You can make it go like wherever you want it to go. Olivia Wilde and Seth Rogen's characters, they have a daughter. We never meet her, right? We're just like seeing them. The daughter's like off at a sleepover or some shit like that, right? So there could definitely be like some family interaction. They could potentially go somewhere, you know, even different a little bit with Edward Norton and Penelope Cruz's character. But seeing them interact and the chemistry that they had and the way that they left it, yeah, it could go for a sequel. But I also feel like for me, sometimes you want a sequel because you're like, oh, I'm really interested in to see where this story goes. But I do also feel like at the same time, while this movie could do that, if they really wanted to, if it made enough money, right, you could do that. But it is A24, so I don't really know if they want to go there. However, I feel like the story had a meaningful enough conclusion. Like, I feel like this story definitely had what you would consider a finite ending that was finite enough, but yet ambiguous enough to say, I wonder what happened next. But we don't need but we don't need a whole movie to explain it to us. You feel me? Sometimes
so everything was pretty much answered. Like whatever the story was is pretty much answered in this film.
Yeah, it was answered enough, and I feel like it gave you enough to say, y'all maybe make up your own specific ending, very specific.
Yeah.
But we don't need to say, we don't need a whole other movie to tell you everything that went down. You could do it if you wanted to. Yeah. You could do it. I'd be here for that. But I think we're good with what we got. Yeah.
All right. Cool. Hell yeah. So, Invite's the movie.
I'm telling you.
Even that bird, isn't it?
I'm telling you, you're going to hear more about this movie. Because from what I understand, it was like in limited release. And then it was like getting expanded to more theaters. And there's definitely a lot of buzz around this movie. And like we say, Seth Rogen is like on top of the world. This guy's doing it right now.
I know.
And then Edward Norton is Edward Norton. Penelope Cruz is great all the time. And then Olivia Wilde, she's had, like I said, Booksmart was a great directorial debut for her. I'm pretty sure that was her first movie. And then this movie is another hit out the park. You see what I'm saying? So you're going to hear more about this film for sure. And also, in today's day and age, maybe we don't get as many, romantic comedies or dramedies, if you will, at the theater. And this was one that really, really, really was dope. And the whole audience that I was with was vibing with this movie. So, yeah. This was
so I'm definitely going to see it then. Definitely going to see it then. Because I've been wanting to see it. So I'm going to see it this week probably. So I'm going to have some time. But all right, so Invite, yes. Even that burn, wait. Okay, it's one of those things, you know what I mean? So either way, so I'm definitely going to see Invite. So if you got this far, thank you very much for hanging out with us this far in the video. So if you've seen either one of these films, Evil Dead Burn or The Invite, let us know what you think of each, you know? And you know what? If you got this far, thank you again. And if there's a movie that you like us to review, let us know. Within the action, sci-fi, fantasy, and horror genre. That's what we do, okay? So let us know what you think, if you'd like to hear our review on it. Otherwise, we'll see you on the next one, all right? All right, peace.